We just ask you about injury updates. Obviously, we won't see the squad till Friday, I think. Rohan, what's the latest?
Fussatua had a decent ankle injury that's turned out to be probably most likely a 6 to 8 week type injury. He'll be seeing a specialist this afternoon, so we'll know a bit more about the way forward there. But other than that, we've come through quite well from the weekend. Just bumps and bruises.
Any potential returnees?
Ash is back in some training, but not sure whether he'll be available yet. Other than that, I think we're as per.
Has Ash got a chance?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. He hasn't done a full training session yet, so we'll have to see.
What's your thinking regarding the Fussatua gap? What are your options?
Well, we also got to see if Nene's all right. He had the calf injury last week, so if he's available, he'll come back in. But we've got Tyndall and young Lewis Roberts, and we've got a few players there in the outside backs that are chomping at the bit for an opportunity, and sometimes that's what the kids need.
What's the update on Will and Ash?
Ash, first dead set out. He's going to probably be more like 3 months at the moment, we're looking, so it's going to be quite a nasty one for him, which is unfortunate the way he was playing. Pricey, we'll see tomorrow. He was supposed to be going to go for a scan at the back end, but he's bounced back pretty well. Like I said in the aftermatch, he didn't look too bad. So physio's going to check him first thing in the morning. He's not trained with us today, but if he's available, he'll train tomorrow and play on weekend. But we'll know that tomorrow.
Would you be surprised if that's the case? I mean, it looked about. Phil Davis was doing commentary for us, and the way his injuries, he said it looked like his ankle had gone.
Yeah, sometimes it's like the shock of it though, especially when you're a young player and you don't really know your body. Because we was worried, was it Achilles or anything like that, because the way he pulled up. But none of that. It was a little bit puffy, but he's iced it. He's been taking anti-inflams. It's come down pretty well. He's weight bearing again today. He said, well, we'll see where he is tomorrow. I thought it was unlikely. We'd prepped for obviously Tui coming back in, but with Pricey being available, if he's back and available, we'll see where we get to on that.
Just quantify how big a blow the Ash Golding absence is going to be, then given his utility and given his sort of just general
I think his performances. Yeah, his performances have been holding his own. He's been holding his place in front of Jermaine. I mean, Jermaine was available last week, but because of his performance, he's been keeping his place. He's phenomenal, Ash, in terms of like his energy and his character and the way what he brings to the team. So he's a big loss in that way because he can fill many positions as well. He's probably one of the only players who I know who can play 13-9, play in the half spine of the team, play on the wing if he needs to. Yeah, he's a big loss, mate, to be fair, the way he was going.
Any potential returnees this Friday then?
Harvey Levett, here. He's looking okay. He's trained fully today, so potentially he'll come back in.
Rohan, has Luke Hooley gone on short-term loan to Batley?
Yeah, he has. That was likely going to be the plan. Once we had fullbacks available, and Richie missed due to the birth of his daughter last week, and that was a couple of days in the hospital, so he needed a break. Luke got his opportunity. Obviously, a tough night, but the plan was always to get some championship next week, being this week now. And Batley makes sense. It's a very familiar process for him, and he trained there last night and he fit in comfortably, and looking forward to him getting some game time under his belt.
He's a very resilient young man, isn't he? But have you had to put an arm around him after Friday?
Not too much, just, it happens. We've supported him, and he can have a rough night, and that was, the rain and the wind coming in sideways against that type of kicking, and it's difficult. He wasn't on his own. There was a couple that struggled in those conditions, but yeah, Luke he's bounced back from a lot already, and it might take a little bit of time, but he'll be back.
And what's Nathan Mason's gone to Wakefield? What was you thinking behind that? And is there any potential for other maybe departures or incomings?
Oh no, the big one for us was that Nathan got some game time at Super League. He would have played a few weeks ago, but he had something happen which was pretty personal to him, and then he was ill as well, so he missed the game on the back end of that. So it's about getting him some Super League minutes now, but there'll be nobody else at the moment. But probably the beauty of it was Sam Hewitt's well into his loan period, so if we need to pull somebody back, we can pull Sam straight back now. So that was the thinking behind Nathan Mason, that it wasn't going to cost us. If we needed somebody, we could pull them back.
You're meeting in the rivals round this week. Yeah. Ian, first of all, how would you describe the rivalry between these two clubs that you've come to know?
Well, I spoke about the first year I came to Huddersfield. I've always known Huddersfield and Leeds to be really good games and really kind of fight tooth and nail to the death on them. There was obviously the famous one in around the League Leaders Shield, I think it was, with the last minute try. So yeah, they've always been good games from what I've known, and probably no better place obviously coming to Headingley. It's a great stadium, you have a big crowd there, they're nice and loud as well. For me, it's an exciting place to come and play, one we're looking forward to. But yeah, the rivalry's been, from looking from the outside in, has always been pretty special.
Rohan, what defines the rivalry between these two clubs?
Well, it's still pretty new for me. I'm not that familiar, other than there's been a lot of close games in recent years, and certainly 2 close ones last year. I was watching one on video just before I got here last year, and then the back end of the season we had a tight tussle. It was a good TV spectacle, I'm sure, and it was a massive win for our season. And you know, we expect another tough, hard game, and looking forward to a big occasion on Easter Sunday.
The fact that you don't have to back up so soon after as well, are you able to put a lot more into this fixture, do you think? Yeah,
sometimes you've got to be a little bit clever around the Easter period with the way we've played it before. I think this is the right thing. It's the right thing for the players as well. It's a lot to ask for, because it wasn't kind of that week or the week after that players started feeling it. It was just after that, and then that's when you started getting a glutton of injuries on the back end of it. So I think this is the right thing for the players. Everyone always talked about the welfare of the player, but they didn't seem to act upon it. This was acting upon it. We've still got to fit another one in. We were just talking about before with the St Helens game at some point. Hopefully that doesn't become 2 games in 1 week. And then you see better performances in a more consistent level by players being held to recover and prepare for the next game.
The other side of the coin is, I think, if you're in good nick and you've got a fully fit squad, some clubs could get a bit of decent momentum, couldn't they, over Easter? Would you miss that opportunity, Rohan, at all, or is it more about the welfare?
Yeah, I think what the players put themselves through every week is, I'm always in admiration of what they go through. It's a tough game, and it's ridiculous to be playing, every 3 or 4 days. I think, State of Origin's the only thing left now that sort of, and even the NRL clubs have been more conservative maybe with players backing up and not backing up 3 times anyway. So, yeah, I think player longevity is a key part of what we're doing here, as well as trying to win every week. So having both at the front of our mind is important.
Just lastly from me, if I could get you both to just sort of give your respective gauge on the opposition. Ian, first of all.
Oh, Leeds are a top team. They've been a top team, a top club for many years. You look at the backfield, they've got a big, strong, mobile backfield. The pack's no different, big, physical, mobile. And then you've got a spine as well, which has got quality running through it. So we know they've got strengths all over the field, and we know we need to be at our best to kind of counteract that.
Owen?
Yeah, Huddersfield, very tough team to beat. They know who they are. They're probably a bit further down the path of their team identity, I guess, than what we are. But they've got some real, consistency with how they play, but real strike and threat that is hard to account for in a few of their players. Can find things that are well out of the ordinary. So you sort of got contrasting things to prepare for, and it's a good battle. It's good preparing to play Huddersfield, because there's a lot to account for.
Thank you, guys.
How is Nenny McDonald?
He's in rehab process still, so he's done some running, but not sure yet.
What's the situation with James Donaldson? We haven't seen him for a while. Did he come into contention this week? Is he fit and available?
He's fit and available. We've had a reasonably fit middle unit, and then we've had Bentley come back into the contention in the last little bit, and Mikolai as well. So he's just been a victim of circumstance there.
Get through last week, okay?
Yeah, fine. Yep.
Could you see him potentially starting this week, or is it a gradual process bringing him back?
We've been starting pretty solid, not great, not great, but we've been pretty steady, mostly at the start. So I'm not sure if we'll play with that or not just yet. But yeah, I see Mikolai as a starting front row for the club. But given he's had a long absence, there's no rush to be that guy straight away.
Is consistency the big issue for you at the moment? Seems to be very good performance one week and ease off the following week, or slip back a bit the following week?
Certainly not easing off. That was extremely tough conditions last week, and we didn't defend kicks well. But there was a lot of things that we did well in that game. And particularly the resilience after the try after half time, we really let ourselves down from a game smarts point of view. But from that point, it could have been easy to go, it's cold, wet, and we're down 18-0, but we didn't. And felt like in the end we probably ran out of time rather than ran out of energy or interest. We were chasing it hard. So, it's grouping the games together really doesn't serve a lot of benefit. All I'm thinking about is trying to get a result and a performance this weekend against Huddersfield. Like last week, doesn't matter. Won't impact on performance for this week. So I understand the consistency. I mean, we all want to play well week on it, and see W's next to it. But now it's just about this weekend.
You have gone pretty well against the better teams this no disrespect to LKR, but you've beaten Saints and beaten Catalans, which probably not many teams are going to do this year. So that must be encouraging.
I'm not sure if the table's quite established itself yet, and I think there'll be a lot of fluctuation in the table this year, as is shown. St Helens, they don't lose games very often. They lost a couple in a row, and they went from one bouncing ball, and Brad Dwyer picks the ball up. That would have been 3 in a row. As good as they are. So I think it's a very tight, hard-fought competition, and there's going to be ups and downs for most teams, I think. And we haven't been bad, I don't think. We've played some good, tough games that we've been beaten in, and we've played some good, tough games that we've been successful in. We haven't been at the level we'd like to be in some of those games, but we haven't been bad. And the other team have found a good game every time we've been beaten. We haven't been beaten by a poor team. So.
Thanks,
Peter, sorry, Peter,
yeah, I'm okay.
Peter, what's the latest on Josh Jones?
Yeah, he's no closer to playing, mate.
No,
Yeah,
not
no.
just concussions.
He's seen a specialist. Specialist has cleared him. He's just got to go through the graded return to play. But yeah, he's not close playing at the moment.
Okay. Obviously, Jermaine, he was in the squad last week, wasn't he? He missed out. Was that a selection thing or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pure Ashes form, mate. The big thing is you want players who are performing, and if they perform well, then they keep the shirt. And players kind of want that as well, so that they know if they come in and they perform, that they've got the right to hold the shirt. Jermaine was unlucky that he got injured. There was a couple of people who were dropped the week before, but that's kind of selection. That's kind of what you sign up for as you play. It's a tough game, and if you don't perform, then you don't get the place in the team.
You've got some options, haven't you, for that Ashes spot there?
Yeah.
You've also got Leroy and Jake Viv as well, so is that a difficult one for you this week?
Yeah, it is, but Jez will be the one, mate. Jez will play for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, this week. Yeah.
And Ollie Wilson as well. Are you still managing his back?
Yeah. He's just doing bits. He trained little bits with us today.
But out of Sunday's game, you think, or is he a chance?
Yeah, I'd probably say not.
Or do you think you know your best team yet? You've got great squad depth, haven't you? But do you know what your best 17 is?
Well, I know what it would look like or what it should be. Whether you can get that on the field is a different matter. Obviously, the injuries and you pick up and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, I do know which one would be our best 17. Mm-hmm. But like I say, everything's dictated by form and obviously injury.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Ollie Wilson. Obviously, there's Tom Allroyd at Leeds as well. Yeah. It's a shame that he might not play, but how exciting do you think those two are? And we're talking about potentially a young team for England. Do you think those two should be sort of in that conversation now?
Yeah, I can only say off what I've seen off young Tom, and he plays the game 100 mile per hour, very similar to Ollie Wilson, very similar to Luke Thompson type player, the pair of them, to be fair. I think they could be great for England going forward. There's a few other good young kids, obviously Aleska. You've got Harry Rushton at our place. Matty English stepped up really well last week. There's quite a few good English middles knocking around at the moment as well, and amongst the two clubs there, you've just named probably two of them, in like Ledska, Holroyd, And then obviously you have people like Ollie Wilson and Matty English in them as Harry Rushton.
How do you think Tom Allred's going at the minute, Rohan?
Yeah, he's been good. Solid every week. Physical. He looks pretty fit. He's had a season out of Super League last year. It's easy to forget that, but he's found a good rhythm. I think there's more in him to come, but he's been performing at a good level, I think.
Do you think he's ready for that step up? If Sean is going to play a young team against France, do you think he's ready to make that leap into playing for England at international level?
That's not my area of expertise. I try and pick a team for Leeds each week, but Tom certainly holds his place every week in a hard-fought Super League competition. If they're playing Australia or New Zealand, I'd say that'd be a massive step up, but they're not. So,
just on Morgan Gannon, similar to Josh Jones, he's obviously been out a while now with the Concord. Has he made any strides forward, or is he still struggling?
He's never been struggling. He hasn't had any symptoms at all from post bump. He was fine in the dressing rooms after the game. Because he has had 2 concussions last season, he went to see the consultant, and they recommended just a bit of a delay there. So I think it was a month maybe. He went back, got cleared to return to contact, and he's going through that process now. He's had no symptoms. He's wrestling, tackling, doing things on a regular basis, 4 or 5 times a week in a controlled setting, and we'll build it up into some combat and some serious work in the next week or 2 with a return to play, soon to follow after that.
Can you start thinking about him being selected from next week then, or is it a couple of weeks beyond that?
We could have fast-tracked that and had him available for selection by now, but we're choosing to try and make some intervention into some technical things, as well as giving a good opportunity for a young bloke that's still got plenty of physical growth in him to hit the gym hard and get some strength and size gains.
Just finally for me, obviously Cruz leaving to move to Gold Coast got announced over the weekend. He put a statement out saying that he was of the understanding that the move suited the coach's wishes, as in playing to yourself. Is that accurate? We were of the belief that he sort of requested the move. He's maybe suggested otherwise. What do you take on that?
Cruz requested the release through his agent, having conversation with Gary, and that was granted. So that's all I really have to say on that.